Or there are people in church who say, I want a breakthrough. So they give a big offering and hope that tomorrow there will be a breakthrough, and there is no breakthrough. I've heard people say, I tithe. There's nothing. And if you watch them, it is in between hardship. When life is hard, they tithe. They give their first for whatever, and then hope that next month will be great. No. It is not how it works. He that goes forth continually. It's not one touch result. It is continually. You want to be rich? You invest a lot of money, then you go and take out the money and use it for a funeral. Then invest a lot of money and then go and take it and use it for a party. You invest a lot of money. There are people who invest money and every year take the money out and blow it. Continually. That means there are investments you will not touch for the next 30 years. For all of you who have provident funds, you must keep it at least for 30 years before you start withdrawing. That is when your harvest will come. But you have to keep giving and saving and investing continually. And you are crying, but sowing, tired, sowing, broke, sowing. Then one day, you come forth with joy with your harvest. That is what the Bible teaches. So in a year like this, when we say this is a year of fruitfulness, the fruit you are reaping this year will be from seeds you sowed 10 years ago. There's no magic fruitfulness happening, Don't go and say, Pastor Otabil says it's a year of fruitfulness, so I'm getting fruit from where? From where? God is not mocked. The only fruit you reap this year is what you have sown in previous years. But the good news is that in this year of fruitfulness, you can sow seed for future fruit also. There are results you're going to get this year based on tears from 5 years ago. Some of you have been working your business and working, and then one day, boom, everything blossoms and people say, hey, all of a sudden the guy has prospered. It's not all of a sudden. Nothing happens all of a sudden. It's almost like seeing a tree bear fruit and say, oh, all of a sudden the mango is ripe. No, it's not all of a sudden. It was planted some years ago. It grew. It bore flowers, but you didn't notice the flower. When the fruit was green, you didn't notice it. It is when it got ripened that you saw it, because most people only recognize harvest time. That is when they go begging for other people's harvest. Can you give me some of your harvest? Yeah, I can share with you my harvest for today, which we should all do, but my harvest for today, which I share with you, becomes your seed for tomorrow. Because I may be in my harvest season, but you are now in your season of planting. So many times when somebody gives you their harvest, you must plant it for your own harvest. Seed time and harvest shall not cease. This is Jehovah Almighty speaking. As predictable as there is day and night, predictably, your effort will yield results. The little steps you take potentially will become great. The little efforts you start but never give up on them potentially will become great. In every area of your life, whether it's in your marriage, learning to say thank you every day, thank you every day, thank you, please, it will produce results. But for most people, what they do is they start saying thank you. After 1 week, hey, if you mind me, I won't mind you too. Continually. Some people in church give an offering 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. This thing I don't think is working. Continually. He that goes forth bearing precious seed continually shall doubtless come again, rejoicing. So, what am I saying? It's seed time. It's time to start afresh something that will give you results in the next 5 years. Or in the next year, or in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years. Or even something that will give your children the results. Or your grandchildren the results. Because there are certain things you do, you never eat the fruit of it. Only your grandchildren will eat it. You invest for them. You act for them. You pray for them. You believe for them. That is the seed you are sowing now. And even if you will not be there to enjoy the fruit, you must sow the seed so that generations after you will eat the fruit. Reaping. How do we mock God? We mock God when we have not planted a seed, but we are looking for a harvest. Or when we plant a particular seed, but we are looking for a different harvest. That is mocking God. Don't mock God and don't deceive yourself. So that's the first thing. Second thing you note from that passage is that the law of sowing and reaping affects everything. When God said to Noah, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease. He was talking basically about agriculture. But when we look at Galatians, it says, whatever a man sows. That means that same principle that works in agriculture works with whatever. So just like a farmer takes a grain of corn, plants it, and reaps a harvest. In Ghana, they will plant it around April and reap a harvest in August. It affects agriculture, but it's not limited to agriculture because Galatians says, whatever. This same principle of farming affects every area of our lives. It affects our marriages, it affects our finances, it affects our talent, it affects our professions, it affects the way we build churches, it affects the way we build nations, it affects everything. Whatever a man sows, woman too. It's a universal principle. It affects every aspect of our lives, our spiritual lives, our relationships, our finances, whatever.